do you support Trump?
Probably on his executive orders that he was trying to pass on trans people.
Such as?
The trans bathroom ban.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Would you ever vote for a trans woman that's gone into the women's restroom for president?
No.
So why would you vote for Donald Trump, who's bragged about walking to the changing rooms of naked women while they're changing without their consent?
Well, a changing room isn't a restroom.
Isn't a changing room worse to go into? Because, like, people are naked and changing?
Not if you own the place that you're trying to get into.
Like in the bathroom, there's stalls, right? Like
Yeah,
in the context of the changing rooms, like you're changing and he was barging in. So if anything, I would say that's bad, right? Oh my gosh, chat. People heard the bleeps. the auto bleeps happened. I didn't hear it. I didn't even know when it happened.
Yeah, I think it's immoral for Trump to enter the changing rooms in the pageant.
Okay, but like you just said, you wouldn't vote for a trans woman that walked into the women's bathroom, but you would vote for Donald Trump even though he bragged about walking into the changing rooms of naked women while they're changing without the consent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that changing rooms are going to be exclusively for women. I think that the pageant rooms, changing rooms could allow like multiple individuals who are trying to help women get fitted into their costumes. Or, for example, he owned the pageant, so I think that he has the right to enter.
Oh, okay. Wait, so hold up. You think so? If your daughter was in these changing rooms changing, and Donald Trump barged in, you think it's okay just because he owns the place?
I mean, if he was checking for safety measures or checking
he explicitly was saying that he gets away with it, and that he was like literally going in just to look at them.
I mean, could I see the clip where he said he was just going to look at them?
Yeah, he made a joke about being going in there like a doctor to inspect. Like that's literally the way that he referred to it. So yeah, you can take a listen here.
He's going for safety measures.
You're being ridiculous.
To do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else, and no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. Right, I want to make sure that
like
everything is good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women, and so I sort of get away with things like that.
So why is it funny, and why is he getting away with it?
I mean, how do we know this incident happened on a shock jock show?
Wait, he admitted it.
Well, yeah, admission doesn't mean it happened.
What would you accept as evidence?
This is a shock jock show. We don't.
Wait. What would you accept? I mean, I don't think that people are typically admitting to engaging in exploitation, right?
Correct. So that's
so like let's just be clear here. He admits to engaging in this, and also there were specifically victims that came out and said that this happened. That's not enough evidence for you?
Who exactly said it happened? I mean, I know multiple individuals.
Yeah, multiple individuals, such as, like, for example, Mariah Delgado came out and specifically indicated that Donald Trump barged into these changing rooms while they were changing. There were two 18-year-olds that literally indicated 4 girls as young as 15 years old in these changing rooms.
Yeah, and there were individuals in the teen pageant who confessed that it never happened, and he.
Wait, just because there are individuals in the pageants that never saw this doesn't mean it never happened to any of the individuals.
No,
that's like someone saying who met Jeffrey Dahmer. Oh, I wasn't murdered by Jeffrey Dahmer, therefore Jeffrey Dahmer is not a murderer. Like what? You're being ridiculous.
No, there were individuals who said that it was either an over-exaggerated claim or he never actually barged in.
To their changing rooms. Just because they didn't witness it happen to them doesn't mean it didn't happen to anyone else.
Yeah, so I mean, if there's going to be some sort of conflicting issue between witnesses, I mean, I don't think that we can make a conclusive claim.
Wait, that's not conflicting. That's simply just saying two separate events. There were different things that happened. Like, that's not conflicting.
No, they were still in reference to the same events. Like, they competed in the same pageant. There were two conflicting.
Wait, so which people?
Yeah, I could look back to the article. I think I saw that one of them said that it was either over-exaggerated or he never actually barged in.
Okay, so you don't know which people, you're just making the claim.
I could check the article.
Okay, so let me just be clear. So, like, one, you can try to check that in a second, and two, even so, right, just because there were 2 people at an event, and one person didn't see it, but the other person did, doesn't mean it didn't happen. Right? If there were multiple people that did see this happen, there are multiple witnesses that did see this happen, why wouldn't you accept that as good enough evidence?
Because there were also multiple witnesses who said that it was over-exaggerated. Like, for example, the Miss Teen of Mexico.
What do you mean by over-exaggerated?
I mean, yeah, this is what the report says, that this is what it was stated.
No. What do you mean by over-exaggerated? Over-exaggerated means, like, it happened, but maybe you're saying it was exaggerated. What was exaggerated about it?
I mean, I think in reference to what they mean by exaggerated is that it was just overstated, or I guess it was just, a fear that, never actually occurred.
It was a what? Sorry.
It was just a fear that never actually occurred.
That's not what exaggerated means. Exaggerated means something happened, but they just made it seem worse than it was. So what did they make seem worse than what actually happened?
So one contestant, for example, it says here, one contestant told BuzzFeed that they saw him being backstage as creepy and shocking, and then other witnesses said that they didn't find it as like creepy or shocking.
So it did happen, and they just didn't find it creepy or shocking. Okay, so let's just clarify. Let's just clarify. So now you're admitting it did happen?
No, I said that.
Wait. You just said that they admitted it happened. They just didn't find it creepy or shocking.
No, I never said it. There was an admission. What?
Wait, you literally just said that the other people that you were citing indicated that it did happen.
Yeah,
they just didn't find it shocking.
This was the witness account that was told to BuzzFeed.
So wait, but yeah, which means again the witness that you just cited saying that it conflicted was actually just describing it did happen.
No, the other
witness. By the way, he just provided more evidence that it did happen. This is really interesting.
Well, no, I just gave you two anecdotes from the witness account. And
okay, so what was the witness account that conflicted with it that said it didn't happen?
Yeah, the Miss Teen New Mexico said it was exaggerated.
Wait, so at a different Miss Teen USA?
In 1997.
Wait, hold on. Wait, sorry, never mind. Exaggerated, you said, so they said it did happen.
By exaggerated, I don't think that means it did happen. I just think it meant that.
Can you tell me what exaggeration is?
Yeah, just overstating something that it's just like something to misperception.
Overstating something. So something did happen, you're just overstating it.
I don't think that exaggeration means.
That's what exaggeration means. I don't know why you're not acting like you don't know what exaggeration means. Like, dude, this is what Trump supporters will grasp at straws to do. They'll act like they don't know what exaggeration is.
Yeah, exaggeration just means that it's more dramatic than it is.
Yes, but it is something, right?
Yeah, but the claim is.
Thank you very much. So, what was it? So, when you say over-exaggerated, what specifically are you referencing?
So entering the room for safety checks isn't going to be barging in.
This is Trump literally bragging about walking in so that he can see women while they're changing without the consent, and he's literally saying that and saying he gets away with it. He was not saying he was inspecting it. Also, by the way, why would you inspect while they're changing? Can you explain to me why you're doing that?
No, I mean, I don't think that he was probably walking.
Do you think that's acceptable? Do you think it's acceptable for like an adult 50 to 60-year-old man to go into the changing rooms of underage women in some circumstances, right? Because he literally is wanting to check the safety of the changing room while they're changing. That doesn't seem like to be a justified reason to go in that circumstance. Okay, that seems to be like a disgusting thing that a would try to use to be able to justify them doing this.
Wait, do we have any evidence?
By the way, the fact that you're sitting there and defending this is crazy. The mental gymnastics that you're relying upon to defend this is nuts.
Well, I mean, if there's conflicting witness accounts, how would I know that this is actually a reliable event?
Again, you said that there were conflicting witness accounts. What conflicting witness accounts? Yes, all you gave was another witness account of it happening.
Yes, so the Miss Teen New Mexico says that she remembers chaperones saying that we had a visitor and to get covered up, but stopped short of accusing Trump of inappropriate behavior. She said, "While I
so hold up. Can I just clarify? Can I clarify? In the BuzzFeed article, is it talking to people that were at the exact same event in all circumstances, or are they talking to people that were at different events?
No, I think this is only in reference to the 1997.
Let me see. What's the title again?
Trump backstage activity in '97 exaggerated, says former Miss Teen NM.
And backstage. Wait, Trump backstage what?
Activity in '97 exaggerated, says former Miss Teen NM in Mexico.
And what is it on?
I think it's referencing it cites the BuzzFeed article, but this is from New Mexico. No, but
what is it on?
New Mexico Political Report.
New Mexico Political Report?
But it references the quotes from the BuzzFeed article.
Okay.
So I don't think it's reliable.
Okay. And okay, so the BuzzFeed article specifically is talking about multiple different events.
Yeah, and then this is in reference to the
then let's clarify. How are you going to say, "Oh, we're talking about multiple different events," right? Specifically.
No, wait, sorry. This BuzzFeed article is only talking about the 1997. They got 4 eyewitness accounts from the 4 women who competed in the 1997 Miss Teen USA. I don't think this was referencing.
So let me just clarify to you. Mariah Bellato is literally the Miss Vermont Teen USA. Okay, so these are different Miss USA events, and you're saying that they're the same one in order to be able to say that like they're conflicting statements, which is false. Okay,
Wait,
you're bringing up different events to say that they're in reference to the exact same situation. Just try to say that they're conflicting. Do you realize how dishonest that is? That's so up to do. Like, genuinely, you're referencing different. You're acting like you knew what you were talking about and saying that they're in reference to the exact same event when that was not true.
Wait, you don't think that the Miss Teen USA, like, if this was like a so
Wait,
you're
sir,
only
can
referencing
you
the Miss
acknowledge?
Teen Vermont?
Wait, no, we're referencing multiple different. There's Wisconsin Teen USA. There's Miss Vermont Teen USA. Miss Massachusetts Teen USA. Okay, so there were multiple different people that they asked. It wasn't just specifically one person, right? In one particular event.
Okay, so I mean, I don't think that if this was a recurring pattern, that there would have been like a multitude of conflicting eyewitnesses in the different Miss Teen. I don't think Miss Teen New Mexico is the only conflicting eyewitness. I think there's multiple more.
Okay, hold up. Let me clarify. When you say conflicting, what you're trying to superimpose is that the statements that have been made have been contradicted. Do you agree that's not true?
Wait, it is, because by saying that there's
they've not been contradicted. When you say
barging,
contradicted, you're meaning that like someone that was at that very event that was right next to them saw something completely different. Okay, that would
so
be
if
like
one witness
that would
says
be like a
barging in
conflicting
and
state
one-
of events, right? If you're talking about the same state of events, but if you're talking about two separate state of events and different things happened in those state of events, that's not conflicting because it's not in
so at
reference to the
one-
same event.
So in the event for Miss Teen New Mexico, for example, there was one witness who said that he was barging in, and then the other witness on the Miss Teen NM said that he wasn't barging in. That was over exaggerated. So that's a direct contradiction.
Wait, which person said that he barged in Miss Teen New Mexico, and which one said that he didn't?
Yeah. So in the article it says.
Yeah, where in the article does it say that?
Yeah, Victoria Hughes said that like there was no barging in, and then one contestant reportedly recalled his presence backstage as creepy and shocking. So I would say that.
Wait, where did you see that on the page? Where on the page?
Yeah, you could do Control F creepy.
Yeah, I just did that and nothing comes up. I just want to clarify.
This is from the New Mexico Political Report 2016-1013.
Okay, so you're not on the original BuzzFeed article where this information comes from.
No, I was on the New Mexico Political Report.
Okay, so we're on a completely different site that's not the original information. So Victoria Hughes, which is the owner of the Miss Universal contest, right? You're saying that, sorry, hold up. Victoria Hughes, Miss Teen USA New Mexico, says she remembers chaperones saying that we had a visitor to get covered up, but stopped short of accusing Trump of inappropriate behavior. So, like, let me clarify.
New Mexico Political Report had their
Wait,
own.
let me just clarify. That's the specific situation that she talked about. Who said that they didn't see anyone? Because this would be a situation where they're talking about like a different event than what we're referencing Donald Trump was bragging about. Even so, and that even
report emailed the contestants prior. So prior to after the event, the New Mexico Political Report emailed the pageant girls, and then there was a witness account that said that she didn't see barging in, and another witness account.
Who? What was the witness account? Where does it say that?
Hughes wrote in an email to New Mexico Political Report. Our chaperones would never have allowed that to happen, and no one, not even Donald, deserves to be lied about in this way. And
yeah, that's specifically of that particular event. That's not in reference to other events. Okay, and you said that another person said that this didn't happen at all, right? In contradiction to Victoria Hughes' statements.
Yeah, she said that he was. Well, this was in reference to. I think the Political Report was mentioning that other witnesses have thought him as creepy or his presence as shocking, and then she responded to that this is a misrepresentation of his character. So this has direct contradiction to her witness.
Wait, so there was just another contestant that said the presence backstage was creepy and shocking. That's quite literally that's not two different statements that are in contradiction. That's different people having different responses to Donald Trump coming back in that scenario. Okay,
no,
that's still not a
report.
You said that they were conflicting. You said that they were conflicting, meaning that one person said that he went there and the other person said they didn't go there. What you just told me was not that at all. You again have misrepresented the facts.
No, when I mean that by visiting, that visiting was in reference to his inappropriate behavior. But he didn't have inappropriate behavior in accordance to her witness account. So that's the contradiction.
Wait. Again, who claims is inappropriate is the individual. So if one contestant
found it as
if one contestant found it as creepy and shocking, how are you going to say that they didn't find it that way?
Yes, because Victoria Hughes did not find it creepy or shocking.
Wait, so because
she didn't think
Victoria felt
it
that
was
way, does that mean that
inappropriate
the other contestant has to feel the same way?
behavior. No, the other contestant
And does that mean
mentioned
it's
that it
wait?
was
That's not
creepy and
conflicting
shocking.
because it's not in reference to the same event. Those are two
Yeah,
different
so
emotional
that's a
states for.
she's saying it's a
Listen, please listen, please
misrepresentation.
listen. Those are two different emotional states for two different people about the same event happening. You're talking about two different things happening. You're not talking about in reference to the same event. Two different people having a different emotional response is not conflicting in terms of the
Wait, I
events
wouldn't
that
think that there
occurred.
would be an emotional response because there
No,
was
no, no.
no.
Listen. In terms of what happened, there being a different emotional response to the thing that happened is not evidence that there's a conflicting event or state of affairs that occurred. Okay? Like for example, if you're outside and one person thinks it's very hot outside and the other person thinks it's pretty cold outside, okay? Does that change the actual temperature because of the understanding that each of individual had in that scenario
No,
about
but
the
the
event?
understanding
No, the
here.
temperature is the exact same regardless, right, of each individual's perceived notion of it, correct?
Yeah, the understanding contention here is that it was inappropriate behavior, but there was several women who
No, you're
competed
you're misunderstanding. You were trying to make a claim that the event didn't happen. That someone claimed the event happened and someone claimed the event didn't happen. That's not what was in this article. What was in this article was that people had different emotional responses to Donald Trump walking in, meaning the event that Donald Trump walked in was true in that scenario. And also, by the way, that doesn't dispute that Donald Trump walked in other scenarios. Okay, there were multiple different scenarios that Donald
Wait,
Trump
so
was
in the
talked
Howard
about
Stern show,
when he was barging in.
which one was he referencing?
What's up?
So in the Howard Stern show, which one was in?
There was
he
no
referencing?
specific one that was referenced. That's the point.
Okay,
He's
so
making a claim that he does this in typical. Like that was the claim that he was making. Do you remember him saying that? I can play it back again.
Is getting dressed. It's your obligation. Could also. Well, I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show,
That all go backstage before a show. So something that like he does.
Yes.
and everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else, and no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like a
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women, and so I sort of get away with things like that.
well, yeah, there was multiple Miss Teen USA pageants where not only the Arizona one, there was also Katie Blair. There was, I think, Carrie Bowler, who said that there was no dressing room allegations. Like it wasn't specific to this event. I think that there was a multitude of other cases. Also, I think
So wait,
in
so you don't think
2014
him admitting to doing it and there being multiple people that have come out and talked about the fact that this happened is good enough reason to believe that this did happen?
No, there were multiple people who said that there wasn't any
Wait,
inappropriate.
can you
behavior
again
from
acknowledge?
Trump.
So you don't think that those two things are enough reason to say that it happened because he admitted it?
Yeah, I don't think that there's going to be a sufficient amount of testimonies that outweigh the ones that.
That's different from
contrary-
saying that they
his-
conflict. The statements conflicted.
Yes, his claim, the claims against him that he exhibited inappropriate behavior in the dressing rooms, but there's also contradictory witness accounts that say that he didn't.
Can you tell me
have
what a
inappropriate
contradiction is?
behavior. Yeah, so there's a premise that contradicts sorry, there's a
You
proposition.
can't use
and
contradict
then-
in the definition of contradict.
yeah, so there's a proposition that negates the prior proposition.
The very same proposition. A proposition that
Yeah.
then negates the very same proposition, such as, right?
So P and not P. Okay, great.
Well, hold up, listen. Let me explain. Such as, right? I believe 1 + 1 = 3, right? Because we have an assertion that 1 + 1 = 2, and then we claim 1 + 1 = 3. That would be a contradiction because you're saying that
Yeah,
one has different
I
values in
understand
each
that.
sense.
So then the proposition at contention is Trump had inappropriate behavior in the pageant, and then the other eyewitness account said that he didn't have inappropriate behavior. So that's a
Wait,
contradiction. in
that's
eyewitness
not a
testimony.
contradiction because those are two different people's understandings of events that happened in two different or in multiple
Wait, but you
different.
just said it was typical.
Listen, in multiple different state of affairs. So again, you're not understanding.
in
That
multiple
doesn't
different state
change
of
whether or
affairs,
not.
so it's-
Listen, you're not listening. Okay, listen. Okay, that doesn't change whether or not the event happened. That changes how someone emotionally responds to the event happening. Okay, and these are different scenarios. There's different scenarios where in one scenario, right, it could have happened. In the other scenario, it didn't happen. There's totally a possible scenario where there are multiple different events that he did, where some of them he did it at, and some of them he didn't do it at. I don't know why that's
You
complicated
just said
for you
it
to
was
understand.
typical. So if it's an overlap of different
He was
events,
claiming
I
that it was
guess-
typical for him to do, meaning he did this more than once.
Yeah, so then if there's cases within the time span of the Miss Teen USA pageants that contradicted what the recurring pattern is of inappropriate behavior, that inappropriate behavior is probably not a typical pattern because there's eyewitness testimonies that contradict that.
No. If there's like two or a few people that come out and specifically say that it didn't happen, or they specifically say like it happened, but I wasn't really like I didn't have much of an issue with it. That's not evidence that this didn't
No, there
happen.
were.
Actually, if anything, that would prove to be again more evidence this did happen. There were just people that were okay with it. Do you understand
No, I
that?
don't think Katie Blair was
Some
okay with that. I
people
don't think
being
Bridget
okay with it.
Sullivan was okay.
Listen. I want you to listen to this for a second. Some people being okay with it does not mean all people were okay with it. Do you agree?
I don't think that they were okay with it. I just think that they were
Wait,
saying
you
that they
just
have no
you just
collection
gave
of
sources that indicated
experiences
they were
that
okay with it.
paralleled that. They had no collection of experiences, I guess, that mimicked inappropriate behavior, or they didn't witness inappropriate behavior from Trump. So, for example, Bridget Sullivan said that he only wished the contestants luck, and that at that same night explicitly stated there was no recollection of him entering while women were undressing. So, if there's no recollection of women
This guy is like
undressing,
actually so dumb. I need you to listen to what I'm saying, okay? There are multiple different scenarios of this happening. It's not just one night, okay? And there's one person that you're referencing about their perspective of the matter. That doesn't mean all other perspectives don't exist. You're acting like one person knows all when they are in a scenario like this, especially in multiple different events that they were not even at in the first place. Are you listening to anything I'm saying?
yeah. So I understand that that there may be multiple experiences that may happen at different events, but if you're making the typical claim, then I would argue that since there's going to be multiple events that are in reference here in the exact same time span of the Miss Teen USA pageants, and that there's different eyewitness testimonies that contradict those, and we're in the same room as them, then because at the Miss Teen USA New Mexico, there was also people who's.
I can't do this anymore, dude. I can't. You stop. You keep saying contradict, but you're misusing the term contradict. Contradict means that the same thing is negated that was proposed. Okay? I am 24. I'm not 24. That's what it is. Okay? You saying there are people that have different opinions on different events that happened
These
is
aren't
not
opinions, these are
evidence that
testimonies.
one, the event didn't happen, and two, it's not evidence that at none of those events did it happen. Okay? You're not understanding what claims you're making,
I'm
and
not
you're
saying that none of the
you're
events
making category
happened.
errors over and over again.
I'm not saying
and we're
that
just
none
having
of
the same
events
conversation
happened,
over and
but
over again at this point.
if your method of evidence is utilizing testimonies as your I guess as your reference for why the event happened, then testimonies can be conflicting because there's not going to be a typical recollection of experiences within the exact same event. There's going to be contradictory testimonies, ones that don't share the same experience. So to say that your utilization of saying that Trump exhibits inappropriate behavior in pageant rooms is not going to be universally acceptable because these are testimony.
No, what you're not understanding is that someone not seeing the state of events happening does not mean those state of events didn't happening. Someone can witness it, and the other one could have been not looking, could have been focused on something else, might have not seen it happening. Okay? This happens all the time. Like, for example, you have friends, right, and you don't hear something that one of your friends said, but your other friends did hear it. Okay, if you claimed, oh, I don't remember them hearing that at all, that's not
Katie Blair was in the
that's not going to
with the other
mean that they
girls.
never said that in
They
the
were
first
in the
place.
exact same environment. They were in the
If you were in
exact
this,
same
yeah, if you were in
environment.
the same environment and you simply just didn't hear your friend say that, right? You were in the same environment. You just didn't notice that he said this, but other friends did notice that he said this. Just because you say that you didn't remember this happening, is that evidence that this didn't happen?
Yeah, no. So there may be a
No.
recall of different. Yeah, obviously
No,
there's
it's
going
not.
to be.
And it's also
I
not in
acknowledge that,
contradiction.
no,
It's just
because
meaning
there's
that
different
you,
experiences.
who has a different experience something different than the other person. It could be for countless reasons, whether you were paying attention, not paying attention, you focus on something else, or something else was going on at the moment. You have to understand that not everyone is going to have the same recollection of events, yet that doesn't mean that this didn't happen. You are purposefully being dense
But
and not
you
understanding
making
this
the
fact
claim
to
that
be
it did
true.
happen is
Please listen.
because there's a
Please listen.
recollection of
Please
events.
listen.
So
Please
that's a
listen. You are
contradiction.
purposefully being dense and not acknowledging this fact to be true so that you can literally not acknowledge how Donald Trump did wrong here, right? Because this is very clear. There's multiple witnesses of the fact that he did this. He admitted to it himself. If you don't accept this as evidence, there's almost nothing that you would say is enough evidence to accept
Do
it.
you think admitting something on a shock jock show is going to be reliable evidence that the event did happen? Do you
I
know
think
what a
this is
shock
reliable
jock
evidence
show
that
is?
Trump did this, yes.
A
And
shock
when you
jock
say
show
shock
is not
jock,
going to
like
be
he admitted to
reliable
engaging in
account.
exploitation, okay? If you think that he's willing to admit that as like a joke or something, that's like really weird, one. And two, it wouldn't have been represented by individuals. Two, it wouldn't have been represented by individuals who specifically say that it happened. Like you're not understanding. This is a confession of him doing so. Be real.
Yeah, how can you? Okay, I mean, if this was going to be a confession, then he would either be held civilly liable or called out.
Wait. So would you accept civil liability to be true?
No, is he civilly liable for?
So, by the way, he said, oh, if this was true, he would have been held civilly liable. But then I said, would you accept the civil liability? He says no.
No, I would accept the civil liability, but he wasn't held civilly liable for entering teen pageants.
Okay, so then why did you bring that up if it's not even something that you would accept?
Yeah, because he wasn't held civilly liable for it.
Okay, so he was held civilly liable for forcibly penetrating E. Jean Carroll's against her will. The thing is, he wasn't held liable for the
same woman
exploitation. That doesn't mean it didn't happen.
You said in the same woman who, quote by quote, said that some women have a fetish.
Oh, here, hold up, pause real quick. I need to tell the chat as well. Chat, by the way, there's an auto beep thing now on TikTok. I apologize. This is just TikTok, how it works now. If you don't want to hear the beeps at all, I recommend just going to YouTube, to be honest with you, because like you don't have to hear the beeps there, but you do hear them here on TikTok. On TikTok, I actually don't know when they happen. I have no clue. It's like a new thing they added to like reduce the amount of times people get banned. So I mean, like, I promise you they're gonna end up getting rid of this because it's just not a good idea. Like, there's just way too many beeps. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So in reference to the E. Jean Carroll event, I don't think that her civil liability is going to parallel ones of the pageant. So I mean, unless he was held civilly liable or publicly called out for this, like during that time span that it did happen, then I don't think that this is going to be something that is going to be a reliable account of like a recurring pattern because of contrary witness testimonies that wouldn't make it even into a criminal court. Because
okay, you're just repeating your same thing here. Okay, so
yeah, it's not going to be
it's
reliable
not because of lack of evidence, by the way. It's because you have to understand, like, there has to be a specific violation. There has to be people that would want to hold them accountable in the context of a criminal or civil suit. Okay, there are countless reasons why specifically something like this wouldn't have been brought to court, right? He admitted to this. This is some of the best piece of evidence you could accept. And by the way, if you did accept court determinations, you'd accept the felonies that Trump was convicted of, and you'd also accept that Donald Trump was held civilly liable of abusing a woman, which would mean that you'd stop supporting the guy, right?
Yeah, I would hold him I would hold him obviously accountable to that events if they did happen. But again, civil liability is going to be at.
What do you mean if it did happen? Do you believe civil lawsuits?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so you accept the determinations made by the jury, a unanimous decision by a jury to be true, correct? In typical?
In typical, yes, but probably
okay, so
not
if in typical you accept the determination, would you then acknowledge that Donald Trump is guilty, right, from your own understanding, because the entire jury said so?
I mean, do you realize that the entire jury was either misrepresenting the case or that it probably wasn't going to be, like, standard for holding a president on trial is probably not going to be as reliable in the civil court system. I mean, I don't really think that's like.
What did the jury misrepresent?
Probably the case wasn't investigated, but I don't think that the same woman, E. Jean Carroll, who says that some women like to get raped, is probably not going to be a good.
That's not what she said.
She did.
That's not what she said.
Okay, then what did she say on that?
She said most people think that grape is. I disagree that most people think that, but she's hyper aware of that specifically as a victim herself, and she's talking about the prevalence in society of people believing those things, which inevitably perpetuates grape culture, which is bad for society. You understand the difference between those statements, and do you see how you misrepresenting her statements such as that is honestly a disgusting grape apologist mechanism that people use all the time who are Trump supporters to undermine her being a in the first place? It's disgusting the amount of people that go out there and do this shit. It's so gross. You use your literal weaponized incompetence of not understanding what she's saying in order to literally act like she's crazy. It's gross.
Okay, so if she was going to be representing that most rape victims think this, then this is her representation.
No, she wasn't saying most rape victims think this. She was saying most people think this.
Okay, most people, you're saying that this is some sort of trauma response. Like as a rape victim herself, that this is going to be some
that she's
sort of
hyper aware of these
mentality
things, and that I can disagree with her analysis. I don't think that most people think this, but I do think it's a prevalent thing that exists in society that obviously perpetuates rape culture. So I agree with her on almost everything other than the prevalence in terms of the amount of people that would be applicable to.
Yeah, so I mean, if this is just going to be a response, or I mean, if you probably don't agree with this, I mean, where do you think she derives that mentality from? Like, I mean, obviously,
I just told you. And where do I think you derive your mentality from? Rape apologia.
Okay, wait. I'm not even holding the fact that this is something that happened because I don't think it really did happen.
You're saying it didn't happen. Exactly. That's rape apologia.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that, like, for example, there was corroborating evidence in the E. Jean Carroll case? Like, I think that there was 2 friends that testified. Carroll told them about the incident.
Yeah, and there were other victims that came out and talked about their experiences with things happening to them from Donald Trump. There were specifically multiple friends that explained that they were told that this happened to her decades ago, so it wouldn't make sense for her to make it up, tell her friends about it, and then wait decades, then go after Donald Trump for it. Right? It would only make sense that it took decades for her to come out about it. It only would make sense that she took decades to come out about it if it is the case that it was actually something that happened, because it takes decades for rape victims to come out in many scenarios because of people like you that don't believe rape victims even when they hold their abusers accountable in a civil court.
Yeah, she promoted it in a book during the time of Trump's presidency. I think that's a little politically timed, in my opinion.
So she went after him because of the defamation that he engaged in?
Wait, what defamation did he engage in against Carroll?
He literally called her a liar. He called her insane. He called her crazy. He called her deranged.
Yeah, once she released her book on him.
Okay, and?
Exactly, so it was politically timed because she came forward in 2019.
Wait, so you understand that he defamed her and was proven to have defamed her, right? You just don't accept it because it's Trump.
Yeah,
That's literally the only reason you don't accept it.
Yeah, I understand that. There was almost like $83 million, I think, against him, but I think that's going to be some sort of excessive punishment.
Wait, for something he actually was determined by the court to have done? Cope, bro. You're just mad that he got held accountable for his crimes. You are such a disgusting. Like, literally, is there anything Trump could do that would get you to stop supporting him?
Yeah, I mean, if these cases were true, I would stop supporting him.
Okay, but like, what piece of evidence would you accept? Like, if something is determined in a criminal case, would you accept it?
Probably not on a civil standard, because the burden of proof is based on the preponderance of evidence.
Sir, would you accept criminal?
Yeah.
So then you accept the felonies to be true against Trump. Trump actually legitimately committed these felonies.
Yeah, I don't think that the felonies would make me stop disliking him, though.
Wait, no, but I'm asking, do you think that he did commit these felonies?
The felonies, yeah, but I don't think that the felonies would make me stop. Like, I think that on him falsifying business records in the first degree, wouldn't be... Yeah, I don't think that falsifying business records...
I understand. I have another question. Okay, so do you accept any of the determinations from civil courts against the 40% of undocumented immigrants in the country who have overstayed their visa? They're not in violation of criminal law. They're only in violation of civil law.
Well,
so the only way that you could make a determination that they're in the country overstaying their visa is by utilizing the determinations made by civil courts. So do you not accept any of those determinations made by those civil courts because civil courts are not a high enough standard of evidence?
Yeah, I'm agnostic to the illegal immigrant problem. I don't really have an opinion on it. I don't think that's
you're agnostic on those 40% of undocumented immigrants?
Who were held for what exactly?
Overstaying their visas. So they're in violation of civil law, not criminal law. You don't accept civil determinations.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that I don't really think that they should be held civilly liable for overstaying their visas. I actually do support illegal immigrants as a MAGA. Like I told you, I'm agnostic to the issue.
Okay, interesting take there. I guess we can move back. What is the difference in standard of evidence between a civil court and a criminal court?
I think it's the burden of proof is based on the preponderance of evidence. That's more likely than not, than probably beyond a reasonable doubt, like in criminal cases.
Okay. And are you saying that you need beyond a reasonable doubt in order to believe something to be true?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know beyond a reasonable doubt that that your parents love you?
Yeah.
Could you have reasonable doubt that your parents love you?
No.
No, you couldn't? It's not possible?
Well, under what modality?
I'm saying, like, for example, if someone had a reasonable doubt, would you say that they would be justified in believing that their parents don't love them?
Yeah, well, yeah, you're saying that it's possible that there's some sort of doubt.
Yeah, like if you just have reasonable doubt.
What modality? Yeah, in reference to what? Epistemic?
You understand that we're talking about an epistemic standard of justification. You understand that, right?
Yeah, I'm an epistemic.
So you don't believe anything can be determined to be true?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, so you can't accept it to be true that your parents love you?
Not within a reasonable doubt, but I think beyond a reasonable doubt they do, because beyond would just be in reference to
Wait,
some sort of
you just said that you
metaphysical
can't
realm.
accept it to be true, though. Can you accept that the Earth is
Yeah, in
spherical?
relation to knowledge.
Wait,
But I'm talking
is
in
it true
metaphysics.
that the Earth is spherical?
Yeah, but that's
Yeah. Wait,
that's
you
on a physical.
so
That's
you
in a
do
physical modality.
so you aren't an epistemic nihilist under that definition?
Yeah, I think objectively the Earth is spherical. Yes.
Okay, but do you think it's true?
My relation on whether I think it's true is probably not going to, because since I'm saying a mind
Do you
dependent
think
claim,
it's true that the Earth is spherical?
Yes, since it's mind independent, I think
Yes.
it's a mind independent proposition.
Okay, so hold up. You can accept things to be true, even if they don't meet that standard of
Yeah,
certainty.
but it's not going. I think my knowledge is mutable. I don't think I think objective claims are immutable. I don't think that objective claims can be changed.
Okay, I think you're trolling at this point.
How am I trolling?
I think you're trolling because you originally defined epistemic nihilism to mean that you can't believe anything to be true, and then now you're accepting you do believe things to be true.
Yeah, if I believe something to be true, it would be in relation to like a change in my knowledge, but I don't think my knowledge can change. That's why I'm an epistemic nihilist.
Oh, you don't think your knowledge can change? Okay, I have a question. Do you think the level of knowledge that you had changed between the ages of 5 and 10?
No.
Do you think that your level of knowledge has increased since you were a newborn?
No.
Okay.
Wait, what's
Have
wrong?
a good day.
What?
You're right. You're right. Your level of knowledge has not increased since you were a newborn. You know what? I actually don't dispute you on that one. That's specifically just you, though. Joseph, thank you for the galaxy. Thank you very much. I can say very clearly the level of knowledge that I have has increased since I was a newborn. I'm confident in that. I'm actually really confident in that fact. So confident in that fact that there's literally no reason of engaging in that conversation. That's such a ridiculous thing to say. That's so ridiculous. I can't even imagine saying that and feeling okay with myself after. Like he said that and he wasn't trolling. Yo, what's up, how old are you?
We are charged.
Jeez, like, can you actually imagine saying that? Yeah, my knowledge base has not increased since I literally was a newborn. He said that with his full chest. Yo, what's up, how old are you?